Me. What's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? It's not enough enthusiasm. Welcome to Hits and Heels. It's Wednesday night. It's 9 o'clock. It's Eastern time. I am Coach Terri Bryant, and this is Coach Bryant, and we are representing female football coaches and head football coaches and football coaches and all that good stuff based off of Hits and Heels. So listen, it is October 1st. It is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and it is also Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And so here on Hits and Heels, we always talk about sports. We always talk about things that are positive. We always keep everything real. We like smiling. We like joking. We like laughing. We like having us a good old time. But just for a few minutes, we need y'all to humor us because we're just going to talk about two topics just real quick that we're going to touch on because this is the month that we bring awareness to them. And the first one is going to be breast cancer awareness because I've lost some really, really good friends to breast cancer. I've had too many of my friends to name that have gotten breast cancer, and they've been blessed to beat it. And and we've also lost other family members, even as much as recently to cancer. And so I really don't know how to talk about that. I just want to make sure that we are acknowledging that it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Right, and Ms. Coach Bryant. And it's funny, not being personal in our life. I communicate that to you basically twice a week, right? To make sure you check. And like she said, my first cousin, she just passed away. And I say first cousin, and people of my age and a little bit younger and older understand that first cousin back in the day, you all grew up like brothers and sisters. And so I had a funeral and wake in Indianapolis, Indiana, and she passed away for cancer. Uh, so Donna, and had a lot of a few aunties and others. So it's a real deal.
It's the real deal. I think one of the things that I don't talk about probably enough is that one of the subscriptions that we have to our house is to a wellness club, and that club or stores like a online store rather carries products that are intentionally without toxic products in them, right? And the reason why I do that is because um, our systems are not set up where you can go to the store and you can purchase a product and you know that it does not contain products that have carcinogens in them. I'm not sure why our system is set up that way because if you live in Europe and other areas, you can go and their products that are available here in the United States are not available overseas in Europe and other companies because they know that they contain toxic products. There's also a law here in the United States where companies do not have to disclose the ingredients in their products, especially if they contain toxins and products that have proven and have been tested to contain toxic products. And so, if you're interested in something like that, please reach out to us because hey, Stacy, happy Wednesday. Please reach out to us because we are in our household. We're real intentional with, but we live healthy lifestyles. We try our best to live healthy lifestyles. I'm at that age now where my hormones are kind of catching up with me, and I have to learn how to do things differently. But on the most part, the soap, the lotion, our laundry detergent, our all of our cleaning supplies, all of that stuff are green, meaning that we're real intentional with not bringing those products in our house, candles, um, stuff like that that people use on a regular basis. Most of those stuff, when you go and get them out of the house, contain carcinogens. So then, when what happens is when we do get a diagnosis, we have no idea where that diagnosis may have come from, especially if you don't have a family history of those things. And so we just want to make sure that we bring that to the attention of the people, of our audience, and making sure that you stay safe and that we do have an option if you want to be more intentional with living a healthier lifestyle. Um, they have a weight loss program. They have all your supplements. They have all those type of things. One of the things that I do, like I had some blood work done in May, and then they weren't really good. And then 3 months later, I went back and they were better, and they were based off of the supplements that I was taking. And and I was a little concerned because everything might look good on the outside, but it might not necessarily look good on the inside. And so you have to be intentional about your health. You have to be intentional about your life. And I don't want to be a Debbie Downer on this, so I'm kind of waiting on. I do have a guest that's coming in. The guest that's coming on.
No.
I don't want to be a Debbie Downer. Because we like our podcast to be uplifting and laughing and smiling and all that type of stuff. Like, for instance, Stacy Ferguson is on. She's with my Black Women Love football group, and Stacy is a Cleveland Browns fan, and she does not play about her Browns fandom. And so are we.
Well, I heard her. They're talking about. I heard her earlier today. I don't know if it was a retape or
that was today's the Wind Down Wednesday.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. She was talking about the quarterback situation in Cleveland as we wait for our guests to come on to get back to the main topic, if you will, and that is domestic violence and breast cancer, October. But I heard her talking about it, and I think sometimes when I look at rosters, and I've done this for a long time, is what is the person in front doing to lose their job? Okay, because that's a big deal. Being a coach is 36 years. I did have a lot of guys that behind that played very well, but the starter, just like back in the day, I don't know how old Stacy is. I'm not asking Stace. I know better than that.
Stacy just turned 50.
Oh, okay. So she's still a pup. Okay.
She's still a baby.
All right. So with that said, is you have to do a little bit more to beat the champ, because that was boxing back in the day. Muhammad Ali, Joe Frazier, and all them. You couldn't be even or just a little bit above them. So I don't know, because your subject you was talking about, Stace, had to do with the depth chart of the quarterbacks that I heard when I walked through and heard your conversation. And so I don't know what number 2 and number 3 is not doing to take over the starting job. And I was thinking football, that makes a big difference. And plus cohesiveness with a team makes a big difference. If that makes sense.
Yep, absolutely. That makes a lot of sense. So our first guest is on, and we're going to bring her on, and she's going to give us a little bit of history on some things. What's up, Tanya Whitfield? How are you?
How you doing?
Hey, Tanya,
Good. Yeah. So everybody, this is Tanya Whitfield, and she is part of the Domestic Violence Prevention Coalition here in Lexington, Kentucky. And Tanya, thank you for coming on. Thank you for bringing awareness
for having me.
To domestic violence.
You're so amazing. I love you so much. For sure.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. So go ahead and give us a history. You don't have to put disclose a lot of your personal business if you don't want to. But on why this is a big project for you.
Oh wow, this is and I'm actually working Greenhouse 17. That is the domestic violence shelter down here. I don't know if you can see it. I'm trying to work so you can see the name. But they're so amazing. Darlene Thomas, she's been doing this 35 years. Diane Fleet been doing it 20, and they like peanut butter and jelly. I mean, you got to have both all the time. If one is represented, the other one is there. But for me, it's more like it happened in my life. It is a part of my life. It's not my whole life. It's not my whole story. It's just a chapter. And I just want people to be more aware of what domestic violence is and kind of what it actually is versus the stereotypes and the myths and what most people think of it, or they say, why did they leave sooner? If that was me, that would have never happened, because they try to make it seem like it just happened overnight, like they just woke up one morning and it was all this situation. No, it's so much on their mental. And I'm a daddy's girl. Okay. I'm a daddy's girl to the daddy's girl. My daddy loved my mom very much. I saw healthy relationships. But when I lost my daddy, I lost me. And they prey on something that you're missing. They see it and they prey on it. And when I say pray, I'm saying PREY. And sometimes the guy can seem so sweet and he's quiet and unassuming. And so to everybody else, oh, he's so sweet. I would never think that, because he doesn't want you to think that he's a bad guy. He saves it all for his person he's in a relationship with. And that is what gaslighting is, because they're really just trying to change your reality. So, of course, if you're around me and you're acting all crazy and you're acting this way and that way, but then when you're around other people and you're so inviting and you're so sweet and helpful, people not going to think that you did anything wrong. People not going to think. And so if I say anything, oh, she's just being difficult. She's not doing this right. She's not doing that right. Well, if she would listen to him better, or she wouldn't make him so upset, then he wouldn't have put his hands on her. He wouldn't have been mean to her. He wouldn't have hurt her. And I'm like, dang, that's a lot to put on us. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, I understand I'm responsible for me. I'm responsible for my actions, what I do and don't do. But I don't think it's all right for me to be responsible for a whole nother grown person.
Okay.
I just don't think that.
Okay. We already talked about offline that this was definitely a touchy subject, and we there's never a time where is a camera off? A time where a grown man should put his hand on a woman, right?
Hmm.
At any time. Um, but sometimes it's the other way around.
Yes.
We have a son, and that's so and I have a daughter, and so we can see both sides. But I think I'm more concerned about my son that gets provoked, and then now he has to defend himself, and then now the female can play the victim.
Hmm. I
Now
definitely understand that.
that's a controversial perspective of that. How do you feel about that?
Well, I definitely understand because I have a lot of male cousins that I'm very close to, and I have seen where it was the woman and not the man, and not just because they were my cousins. It's like if you didn't see it like that, that was just you was blind. And that's why when I think about my dad, and he was always there for his family. He was, people always looked to him for guidance. And I still remember he was washing dishes one day. I had been like 8 or 9 years old. And he's like, am I turning into a woman? I was like, Daddy, what are you talking about? And he's like, no, I'm being serious. I'm like, no, Dad, you're still a man. And he was like, he was saying that to say, like, I could still wash dishes and be a man. Like it's not a girly thing. It's and he was like, and if you do see a man that tries to say that this demasculates him, then you need to run the other way, don't look back and keep moving. You know, and I thought that was hilarious, but I understood because he was the cook in the family. You know, he could cook like no other. My mom was the baker. And that's usually kind of how that works, you know, one over the other. And I just think about, you know, he was that type of person that was always real. And he never agreed with a man just being able to like do whatever and not be held accountable, but also a woman not being able to do whatever and not be held accountable. But it is, I still feel like it's more on the man and not to put it only on him. But at the same time, I can't control what you do, but I can control how I react. So of course, if they're in a situation, because nothing just blows up right away, right? Like there's times where like you see the red flags, you see the siren going off, so to speak. And so you could be like, okay, you know, for instance, your son sees something. He's like, okay, now I'm getting to a place where this could get me into a situation, right? So you know what? I'm gonna walk away. And I know sometimes when men walk away, the woman grabs at them, or you're not gonna walk, you're not gonna leave, you gonna listen to me. And so he's trying to be like, okay, I'm trying to be respectful. She's coming at me. I'm still trying to be respectful. And then at this point, you know, I'll be like, hey, mom, I need some help. I need some assistance, you know, and be okay with saying that. Like, look, I need some help because I'm being calm, but I would go outside right away. Have my phone with me, go outside and say, please help me, because that is where the thing is when it comes to this whole thing. And I've heard this a lot. People think, you know, domestic violence um, organizers, people of that is men haters, and we're all about the women and all this type of stuff. But we just the numbers, and it is more women getting hurt than men. But at the same time, we are equal opportunity. I hate to say it like that, but it's an equal opportunity, because my thing is, even though the numbers support that it's more women being hurt than men, men do get hurt. And most of the time, it's not always physical. It could be mental, it could be spiritual, it could be emotional. And those scars last even longer than the physical ones. And that's why I feel like my dad always said he was like the unicorn when it came to mental health. Because even in the 80s, as I was growing up, you know, he was very about his mental health. He was very about sharing his feelings, even with his nephews and stuff. They used to talk about that all the time and things like that. And so I feel like that helped him to center himself always and be in a different place, in a different mindset. But if all I have is I got to be strong, so that means I have to be tough. And my tough is putting my hands on someone, because that is what shows that I'm tough. But I always say it's like a lion. A lion go through the jungle. The lion don't have to say they a lion. The lion don't have to roar all the time. The lion could just be chilling because he already know he the king of the jungle. He don't have to actually tell you he's the king of the jungle, you know? And so if you think about it like that, you know, and I think about my dad, he was that type of dad that people knew not to mess with him. People knew he was tough, but he didn't use his fist to show that he was tough. He said because it took more courage to actually walk away from a fight than to actually be in the fight. Because anybody can go into a fight and fight. That don't take no skill. But to have self-control and to say, you know what? I'm gonna walk away. Now, of course, if you put your hands on somebody, then you are inviting them to put their hands on you back.
Okay. Well, the one thing that while I'm sitting here thinking about this is I can just remember, it's either been a year or 2 years where I have a friend, and I coached her two kids in middle school, and she put out an EPA on her husband, and
EPO.
um a EPO is it I mean, I'm sorry, a
Yeah.
EPO on her husband. They were separated. She filed an EPO. It did not get approved. and he showed up at the house and shot and killed her. And from that, I had a, just a bad taste in my mouth when it comes to the system, because honestly, I thought that maybe if she was a different color, that maybe the EPO may have gotten approved. I don't know. I can't wrap my arms around, or my mind around, the validation or why that happened the way that it did. That, if a woman shows up to court, goes to that length where she felt like she had to go to court to file something to keep herself safe, and then it did not get approved. I would love to be able to know why in that particular situation the EPO did not get approved. And
well, first of all, an EPO doesn't stop him from going to the house. Okay, by law, it doesn't. It's just to say we're watching you, and you try to put fear. My buddies that all wear badges, and they've already, when I knew you was coming on, thank you again for coming on. So I asked them that same question, and a lot of times, his exact words were, you try to give them a conscious. Don't go over here. We're watching you. We go from there, because you can still do that, and it's been done in history, and the male still shows up, or he still does violent stuff, because he's like, I don't give a blank about this EPO. Okay, and that's been history. I've been on research a long time and lived in different states, and know that's the history. But it's something that I remember your eyes and your heart pounding when your friend, when she, you just want, hoping that they will put it through. Hopefully that would have called his attention, because them not doing it, to me, made him feel invincible. I don't know how he was feeling, but that's when it happened. That's how I felt. He's feeling invincible.
And it was just, all I remember is going to the funeral and hugging the kids, and knowing that their mom is not here anymore. And she was the sweetest person ever. I mean, when you're a coach and you can't run a program without good parents. And she was one of those parents that I had in my system, or in my program, that was just first class. She was a nurse. She was just a great person, and she just deserved better than that. And I just hated that that's what it came down to. And now a whole family is without their loved one because of domestic violence. And then we have another friend that is bound to a wheelchair now, and because of it. And he showed up to her, was in a club, shot her 7 times, and luckily she was able to survive that. And we still have a good time, and she advocates for it now. And I just think that this portion segment of our podcast, like I said, we love talking about sports. But with it being October, we wanted to make sure that domestic violence and breast cancer awareness was brought to the forefront, and that we touched on that subject on our show.
Well, and even on that, today at football practice, we coach middle school, and the kids we had practice today, and a lot of the kids wore pink, and my question was, why are you wearing pink? And it was so fascinating for them to know why they were wearing it. So that means their moms or dad or someone has explained to them. And also one of the juniors, the 7th grader, we call them juniors, was like, yeah, it's 2 things this month. It's breast, and it's don't hit women month. That's how he put it.
Okay.
And that's actually 12 months out of a year, actually, but this brings awareness. And so that made me smile, because that young person, someone is teaching this young male that.
Mhm.
And that's a big deal. So if you want to follow up on that, that's a big deal, is teaching young males how to respect and understand that, what not to do.
Absolutely.
And
Ab
also let them feel free to express their feelings and to know that having feelings and having emotions is not a weak thing. It's not weak. It actually shows strength to
Hey,
be
Mike.
like, this made me upset, or, and like to really articulate that. And I feel like as a woman, there's so much I can teach young men, but it comes better from a man. But I still feel like as women, we still need to do our part. I think about my granny. She raised 13 kids, and the toughest woman you will ever meet in life. And I don't think she ever thought I can't raise my 7 boys. She never thought that, because she was a gangster in her own right. And a lot of people respected her, but she came in like, you're going to respect me. And I feel like when it comes to domestic violence, there is so many different things that people don't really see. And I always tell people, I'm a daddy's girl. I love my dad very much. I'm never against men. And I actually want more men a part of these conversations, because most of the time, even the coalition that I'm a part of, we might have a couple of men here and there, but it's mostly women. And that's usually how it works. And we need more men in these conversations, because real men know that men don't hit. They know that. They know to walk away. They understand that. And most of the time, they not jiving with the men that will think that it's okay, because they even brag about it. They joke about it, and they see their woman as property. And unfortunately, the powers that be see us as property. And that's why it's the laws that need to be changed. It's the policies that need to, and they need to improve with the times. And a lot of times they don't. A lot of these rules, a lot of these laws and policies that we have been in place for 80, 90 years, probably longer than that. And this is by people that really see us as property, which of course, none of them will ever get up on TV and say that that's how they see us. But if you look at how they do the laws and the policies, that's pretty much what they're saying. And so that's why I think it's important for us, not only as women, but people in the community, to speak up and to speak out, and to also protect men, also protect trans. I mean, anybody that has gone through anything, any type of abuse, bullying, all of that. Like, that is the thing that I think is very important, for people to realize that, you know, it's not okay to put your hands on someone. It's not okay to bully someone. Because most of the time they really do just prey on your weakness. They prey on something that they see you need something, and they try to show you a little bit of it, and then they got you. And if you don't have people in your life that can really pour into you, and even when you do, if you don't think that that person is, you know, I don't know, better or whatever it is, it's like you can have all these great people, but you have to see your worth. You have to see that this is not okay. Them putting their hands on you or being mean to you or cruel to you, like, that's not okay. And we need to articulate that better. And yes, we do need to protect the young men, because I know I would never want to see anybody feel like they can't come to someone and say they need help. They should never feel so scared or embarrassed or any of those things, because you have to speak up. You have to speak out. You have to be your own advocate, and that's the thing that is really important to me, is my voice. And if we don't use our voice, we don't really have it. It's like it's not really in existence. And I think that, you giving me this time to be on here, um, and to like really share, my heart, because most people know me. They know that this is very important to me, because I've seen it. I've seen it myself. I remember my aunt. and this is I was a kid in Chicago, and my dad and the brother, my uncle was trying to stop her boyfriend from attacking her. But then when the police came, she tried to put my dad and her brother in jail, defending him, defending the one that was being abusive to her. And I, being me, even then, oh no, you ain't putting my daddy and uncle in jail because this is the bad man, And even the store owner came out and was like, "Oh yeah, they were protecting," but because she did not really say anything and she didn't really speak up, and the only reason that my dad and my uncle didn't go to jail was because of the store owner. But it was sad that even though she knew he was the one that was the culprit, because she didn't press charges, it was not too much that they could do. But the store owner was like, "Well, I'm pressing charges." And so if it wasn't for the store owner, that would not have happened. And I'm just thinking, like, here is two men, even though family protecting her, she sided with the guy.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's what Mr. Brown just said, that there are females that drop charges and months later are harmed by their significant other. So Tanya, I just appreciate you so much for coming on and bringing awareness to this, and I'm glad that I was able to give you a platform to be able to talk about this, and I'm sure we're going to talk soon again. I can't wait until our segment of our podcast came out when I was on your podcast, and and thank you so much for being on today.
Thank you so much. You have a wonderful night. Blessings to everyone. Thank
Keep,
you.
keep doing what you're doing.
Keep doing what you're doing. I don't know
Yeah,
if you can hear me, but please keep doing what you're doing.
man, please keep doing what you're doing. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, that's fantastic. And thank you for allowing us to be able to bring this on the podcast. I know you would said that we always keep our podcast positive, but we just want to make sure that we're bringing awareness to things that are important
Right.
into that. So now we're getting ready to totally flip this whole thing around.
Well, hold on. Let me dial it back based on your statement at me. But my point is this is going to be different for our viewers because we never had this. So
Yeah.
that's how you is your show and you communicated with me on it. We're glad that she came on.
Yes.
Because that's not what people turn on
To
of
watch,
Hits and Heels.
yeah, to watch Hits and Heels.
But awareness is also because you got a format and you got people watching, and boom, and you want that.
Yes.
And like the kids at school, the babies, and they're babies, but somebody is putting information into them, and like you said, your voice is your platform, and you have to use it. And so that's what my thing was.
Just
Not
so thankful.
you know.
Yeah, so thankful for Tanya coming on
Thank you,
again and using her voice for that.
And using her voice.
So thankful for that. Okay, so now we're getting ready to flip the script on y'all, and we're getting ready to go back to our regularly scheduled show, and we're going to talk about our Wildcats. And so our next guest is the most loyalist fan, and he calls himself, he has a show called The Loyal BBN Fans Show, and so I don't know how I came across him, but I'm glad that I did, because our son plays for the University of Kentucky, and it's always sometimes hard to keep it positive because we're never going to say anything bad about the University of Kentucky. Right.
Well, we never say anything bad anyway.
Oh, anyway, yeah, we don't say anything bad. That's just not our nature, and that's not our style.
But don't get it wrong. Now, the car can tell you something different when we're inside the car. That's real. We're just not. I mean, it's just not my nature. Now, people do that. That's their nature, and let them do them. Let them do them. So, my first question. Okay, and I'm gonna influence your statement back at me. Okay. I like the quarterback, Cutter. I thought he took a beating.
Yep, he did.
and it looked like 1970 and 1980 quarterback in the pocket. You know, when I don't give any quarterback this day and age because nobody touches him.
Yeah.
Okay, he was getting touched, and he
Yeah, a
still
lot.
a lot. And so I you know, I wouldn't try to influence on that, but I wanted to throw that out there. So when what's the other quarterback's name? I'm sorry, it escapes me.
Because
The one
Cause I,
okay, when he comes back and he's pure healthy, and he may be, does he get to start?
I don't think so. I think once the majority of Kentucky fans who wanted Cutter to have the position anyway, I think once he got in it, I asked that same. First of all, thank you guys for having me on. I appreciate it. It's now it's almost 4:40 a.m. here.
morning.
Yeah,
Because
it's 4 o'clock in the
hours
morning.
ahead. You're in Saudi Arabia. Where are you at?
I'm in Saudi. Yes, ma'am, I am.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yes.
So, yes. So
well, hey,
this
no.
is-
Thank you.
So, well, I'm actually flying out this morning to Abu Dhabi for a ball game, but so I think with the Kentucky fans, I think because they wanted Cutter so bad, they got Cutter, and that's a question that I ask on my show as well as because I was like, okay, Calzada's hurt, Cutter's coming in. Is this it? Like, is this really it for Calzada? And and unless here's the thing, and one thing that I asked on the post on the other show Monday night is we didn't throw to the tight ends at all. We didn't throw to the tight ends. Like that's what's been working the first 3 games. But Cutter took a lot of hits, and do you ride with Cutter and says, okay, if he's going to be our quarterback for next year, he came in this year, he didn't have a lot of experience. Do you just let him get this year with complete, regardless of how the year turns out? You just ride it out with him and says he'll be battle tested for next year, does it get so bad that you said, we'll go back to Calzada and we'll see what he can do? And then so it's like, the fan base is already, it's a basketball season. So if you bring him back in and he doesn't do well, then it's just kind of like, see, that just solidifies the coach doesn't make right decisions. He needs to go a little way. So it's a tricky topic for real.
I just don't. The fan base baffles me because I don't understand the lack of grace. I get that everybody we're a microwave society and we want everything right now. I don't understand how you feel that if there's 51 new players on a roster, 51.
That's a lot.
New players on the roster that you can. And then in spring practice, you don't get a real depiction of who can do what because you're not hitting for real in practice. You're not going up against each other like you are in a game in the SEC game.
You can't afford to.
You can't afford to. Otherwise, everybody's beat up in practice.
Yep.
Right. So you can't have. So it takes. So we're only 4 games in. And this is where I need people to understand. We're 4 games in. We should have beat Ole Miss, which is right now the number 5 team. At the time we played them, they were like 18, 19. But now, today, I think they're ranked 5th, I think. We should have beat them. Again, it was the play calling. I don't know what it was.
Well,
right?
I'm gonna let you chime in on that one if you can remember that. But my biggest thing is, I think the program is at a stage where shoulda, coulda, woulda is no more anymore.
And I get that.
And we're not happy with that anymore. And please time on this second question if you can remember the first question. The second question that I have is, everybody is on Stoops like crazy, and I'm not saying it because our son's there. But here's my point with Stoops. Wasn't we supposed to be good last year?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. The year before, we were okay, but we were supposed to be good. On paper, we look good. Okay. Sometimes it falls on players. Okay. Okay. And so Stoops just forgot how to coach. in 1 year. Okay. And getting certain players makes a difference. Losing certain players
Makes
made
a
a difference.
difference.
And I get that.
Mhm. Yes.
Okay. My question for you, please, as you are, wow, I can't believe you're not doing this, but my question for you is you feel like the fan base is a little bit too hard, or we just tired of this relationship?
Let's go back to when he was going to go to Texas A&M and it didn't
That's
happen.
still in people's craw.
Yes,
I
let's
can
go.
tell you that right now.
Yes, let's go back to the comment of telling fans to pony up. And I don't think it's you make a good point about 51 players. That's a lot of players. And I think it was only one more team. I'm not sure if it was Purdue or somebody that had as many transfers or new guys. It was only one more team, but I think that was more than us. But when you take, I think, of course, like the last couple of years, there's been a decline. And because of the Texas A&M, because of the comments and other little things right there, I think that's because of that. When you look at coming into this year, I think people was already like, okay, I don't want this guy here. I don't want this guy coaching my team anymore. And now we coming in, and now you got the offensive coordinator who at times doesn't seem to understand what he should be doing out there on the field as far as set, when you look at Cutter's such a young guy, and one thing that you can do for him is to get his confidence up, and that doesn't mean you gotta set Cutter up for success. And if you don't set him up for success, and if you're not consistent, say for example, our running game is really well, but we tend to go away from that just to want to throw the ball. And if we're not throwing the ball well, South Carolina, they wasn't a good run stop defense, but we got away from running the football like we should have been doing. So I think it's a combination of a lot of things leading up to this year. But I mean, I think if you go back, because it was people really on the fence with whether they wanted Stoops or not. But then when he goes and does a Texas A&M thing, and then when he starts making these comments, I think you just lost people, and people never came back around. And those same fans are going to come back and says, what have you done for me lately? Even if you do only have 51, even if you do have 51 new players, it's still, it's Kentucky football, and it's not the down. I love Kentucky football. I've never been an advocate of saying, "Hey, fire Stoops, fire coach." This is this people's life. I'm not smart enough to go out here and say there's people out there that will all the time. People would say fire the coach, but I try to stay positive, even though I'm upset because I want to see our Wildcats win. But at the end of the day, it's like, okay, I'm not smart enough and I don't make enough money to tell somebody to fire somebody. That's way over my head. So I try my best to keep it positive. But I think a lot of the fan base kind of separated from Stoops with that Texas A&M thing. And they was like, we're done with Stoops. But as you say, Kentucky football has come a long way, but we're living in an age where we want to win now. And what have you done for me lately?
Well, I think it also comes back to the part that the wife said that we live in a microwave, and
Yes.
and we can't stay even. We have to keep improving, even though you have a long way to improve. I have a question on going back to Cutter.
Okay.
I'm sort of contradicting myself as a coach because when both of them was healthy, Cutter was second.
Yes.
Cutter became one when he got hurt.
Yes.
And that's why I was saying, okay, does he come back, get the job? Because my philosophy has always been as a coach,
You don't lose your
you
job.
can't lose your job if you get hurt, unless that other unless that one does a Brady and dominates.
Yes.
Okay, and that's where, because I think Cutter should be the quarterback. I always have. But with that said, is he didn't win the job for whatever reason, and he got the job on an injury. So I'm contradicting what I've been saying to myself for 37 years as a coach. So what do you think?
Well, I mean, you're absolutely right. It was something. I don't know if it was because, we paid Calzada a whole lot of money to come here, so he just like by default is going to be the starter. there is a lot of people who were saying Cutter's a much better quarterback than he was, and he should have got the starting job. So at this point, is it like, well, we paid a lot of money for Calzada to come in, but is he really the best quarterback? And if he's not, then we just got to just eat that money that we paid for him, and he's
Like
just considered him, and just kind of consider him as a really, really, I guess a safe backup in case Cutter gets hurt. But you're right. Even my co-host, BC, he brings up the point of you got to give Calzada at least 3 to 4 games to get into a real rhythm where he got hurt. And if he gets healthy, shouldn't he get a chance to come back in? But here's the key to it. If you bring Calzada back in, you think the fan base is loud now? Bring Calzada back in and see how loud the fan base gets.
Without any results. And
yes.
Back on your statement of we ran the football. Okay, they started using a screen set on the front line. And if you watch the film, and I'm in the stands and I can see it, it's where you don't penetrate.
Okay.
And that way the running back can hit downhill. He can't go downhill. So our running backs and our linemen, our big lineman 71 was on the sideline a lot. We were at the game like, why is he on the sideline? And then, and it was like we couldn't get a push because they start squeaking. In my opinion, why they started throwing the ball, I thought the OC did a great job. He's trying to get those linebackers back out of the box because in the beginning, they weren't in the box. So if you got 5 people and I got 8 in the box, I'm going to win.
You're not going to block everybody.
I think I'm going to win. I don't care what anybody says. I'm going to win.
That's true. That's a good point.
So when you throw the ball, the receivers got to get separation to get the linebackers to get underneath because that's what people do to us. They throw underneath and our linebackers are up, and they're trying to get our linebackers back so they can run the ball on the Kentucky's defense.
So let me ask you a question. Someone who goes to the football game, we watch it on TV, and I wasn't able to. I guess I was a little after I got to work and stuff like that, so I wasn't able to watch the entire ball game because work is maybe about 45 minutes, depending on how many trucks is out at night. It could be up to an hour. So I didn't really get to watch all of the ball game. And when I got home that afternoon, of course, I saw the score and I saw a couple of highlights. I think I was too emotionally hurt to go back and watch the whole game again.
We understand.
Yeah. So being in the stands, one thing that I see people talk about a lot in comments is we're not getting separation of our receivers. Can you speak on that because you're personally at the football game?
Well, I think you need to shorten their routes down.
Okay.
Because it's sort of like being a, forgive her, please. Being a 49er fan.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cowboys. That's her only fault. She's beautiful and intelligent, but that's her only fault. I've been working on it for 17 years and nothing worked. Okay, so with that said is the separation is making the receivers work harder short. Yeah.
Not running fly patterns, not running deep post routes, dig routes, curl routes, out routes. I don't know how many times we don't run out routes anymore. And that to me is what will help Cutter because it gets the ball out of his hand.
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay, I'm just getting yelled at right now. Sorry about that. These Cowboy fans come out of the woodwork.
That's what we do.
Hey, you think it's one? Yeah. Here they go. Yeah. Okay, but I just think that, to my personal opinion, is he snaps it 1, 2, get rid of it.
Yeah.
1, 2.5, get rid of it. And let's work on something that we don't do anymore in 2024. How about yak yards?
Yep.
How about yak yards? Quit trying to throw the 80-yard bomb because what made Tim Couch famous, great quarterback, great person, fantastic quarterback, is he would throw a 12-yard out to Craig East, Sanford, White, and there go the distance. But the next day it says 80-yard bomb.
Yes.
I mean, so that's what I think. And you sort of brought that in my head when you said, do something to make Cutter look good.
More successful and build up his
So
confidence.
I hope I answered your question.
Absolutely, and that's exactly what I'm talking about. Is that when you can throw those short routes and when you can see, it's the same analogy for a basketball player. A basketball player might not be scoring a basket, but I tell you what, you put him on the line a couple of times, let him see the ball go through the hoops, his confidence gets up for that ball game, and that's the same process even with football. It doesn't have to be that long 75-yard. Just get. You got Law. You got a couple of receivers that I feel like if you can just get the ball in your hands, even if it is short distance, I feel like they have enough athletic ability that they can make something happen. And remember, it's not about hitting a home run ball. It's about keeping your defense off the field and moving the chains and staying ahead of it. And those little short passes, I mean, you got 4 downs to get it. I mean, if you pick up 5 yards on first down, pick up 4 or something like that, then on third down, you're 3rd and 1. Now they don't know what you're gonna do. If you're gonna throw the out, now you got options with your running back. So and when a quarterback can see that he's throwing the ball, they're catching the ball, and we're getting yards, I can do this. And I think that's where we need to continue to improve on, is making sure that Cutter is being set up for success.
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, I think I like what Mr. Brown said about fans of supporters have been complaining about UK and observing that Vandy and Indiana are progressing while UK is not. And then the pony up comment he said regarding NIL and not finding studs in the portal has been compromised the team ability to advance to a significant bowl game. And then Marquina, who is a diehard Louisville fan, and I'm so thankful that she's still on here. I figured she would. I figured she would have logged off, because earlier she made a comment. She said, "Oh no, I got to log off."
Yes,
has always been of UK fans being very hard on the team, especially the coach after 2 losses, and then they're ready to get rid of coach. I mean, and that's true, and I get that. Thanks, Marquina, for being on there.
Hey,
but here's my thing about the portal. I think we don't get our first choices out of the portal. And I think that that's part of it too. Yeah, you're going to the portal and you got 51 new players. Of those 51 players, how many of them were starters and got significant playing time on their previous team that they were on? Or were the majority of them college players who were dogs when they were in high school, and now they're in college, and now they feel like that they should be getting playing time, and so they decided to go into the portal to go someplace where they think that they can get playing time?
And I've got the third one. Okay, when they went into the portal, what other school wanted them?
Yes,
that makes a big difference.
What other school wanted? Yes,
what other school wanted
them?
Yes. Based on what we're talking about, what other school wanted you? All right, so please.
I mean, that's. I mean, you guys made a great point. I mean, you got these guys coming over from teams. I think, if I'm correct, and you guys may know better than me, I think the only real big player that we got in the, of course, we got the guy from I think it's New Mexico State, or
running back.
Okay, New Mexico State.
New Mexico State.
Yeah, but he was actually.
But New Mexico State.
Suad Pete, I think his name is Pete.
But he was
exactly.
Well, who do they play?
He chose New Mexico State. Stop. I'm telling you right now.
Because he wanted to stay at home. So I think what's his name, Braun. I think is his name that we got from Arkansas. I think he was at Arkansas. I think he was the center. I think we got. I think that was he probably was the guy coming in with the most experience of playing ball. Now, I mean, you got a guy like Law from Alabama. Law is good. Law needs to be a whole playbook.
He needs more. A whole playbook just for him.
Now he's we talk about Yak. He's the guy you want to get the ball for Yak.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? That's the guy. But I mean, I think going in the portal and just seeing who is okay. You're going in the portal, but who else wants you? And if nobody else is really going after you, then well, Kentucky picked him up. But who else wanted him? Well.
But that's the key.
Yes, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, I'm going to go back to Mr. Brown's thing on Vandy. I want to see how Vandy is doing next year when they lose 23 players that came over with the coach.
Yeah.
And that's what people forget about Vandy. That's how Vandy got good overnight. That's why the quarterback went in and if he wasn't there, how good would Vandy be? Okay, if they're gonna get another him next year, because
he's trying to go another year.
After his 7th year, okay, it's time for him to move on. I mean, he's 29. Okay, and then he brings in, and I'm saying this to people, understand why a team got good. Okay, and I'm gonna go this. I'm a little heat now. Okay, Alabama, everybody dogged Alabama last year, correct?
Yes.
Right. Okay. What did Alabama do this year? When the last season ended, that no other team in D1 did. They returned everybody. Nobody went in the portal. Nobody went in the portal for Alabama. So they got the same guys for 2 years. Okay, isn't that Vandy?
Pretty much, yeah.
That they got in with experience.
Yeah.
And for me, people got to understand it makes a difference, especially the play calling. It God permit, what happened to Vandy last year, God forbid, I don't want the baby to ever get hurt. When the quarterback for Vandy got hurt, what happened? Their team took a dive.
Yep.
Because he made the difference. It wasn't Vandy, but he made the difference. So next year, how well is Vandy going to do?
That's a big question. I mean, and so, there's a guy that I know very close, Vandy Chris, and he's like, hey man, I'm just riding the wave. I'm enjoying the ride right now because we know Vandy football can take a plummet at any given time, and then we're right back to where we at. But I just, for me, I hope UK can pull it together. We should have beat Ole Miss. There's no reason why we didn't. We didn't make the best tackles in open field, especially some of our corners. And I think because of that, and then they got a lot of yak yards too after catches. They threw some short yardage, and then they was able to capitalize on it. And then they got the momentum, and then we never could recover from that. I hope Kentucky can recover, find a way to win a couple of ball games this year. I'm still holding out hope that we still got to win 4 SEC games, or at least 4 games, which is we got I think East Tennessee, and then we got of course Louisville. So if we can win those 2 and find 2 more upsets, maybe we get to a bowl game. But not a lot of people, especially with basketball season right around the corner. I don't see how this right here works out good for Kentucky. But I'm still hoping for the best. That's for sure.
Yeah, y'all have to excuse me. My son just walked in the door, and so
no problem.
One of the perks of being at home, or being able for him to just pull up in the house at any time. And we're just so thankful that we have this opportunity that
absolutely,
that we get to see him on a regular basis. A lot of parents don't get to see that because their babies are away at college, and we have the opportunity of him pulling up. Want to pull up a chair? But anyways,
oh, this is the song, man. What's up? That's your son. Yeah. I would look. I'm going to take this opportunity, and maybe I shouldn't. So I apologize for this. But I would love to have you on my show. That would be just keep balling out, man. Look, I'm one of the guys. Just keep balling out. Love to see your game every single weekend. I know it's not going the way that we want to at Kentucky right now, but hey, guys like myself, we still believe in you guys. We still think that there's possibilities, and I'm not just saying that because I am shell shocked right now. So my apologies. I did not expect to see you on the show tonight. So this is. Thank you so much for stopping by and seeing Mom and Dad. You must have knew I was going to be on the show, so I appreciate that. Pull up. Yeah. So,
can you just do a Zoom with us once a week so we can get him come over?
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Sure. I would love to. But my show, we're a big supporter of you guys on the team and everything. And we just want to say, man, it ain't going well, but just keep pushing hard, man. And, good things happen to those who just stick around and just to see where this ends at. So please do. And thank you. Yeah. So absolutely. But yeah, thank you. And, and thank you guys for having me on too as well. I can't believe this, man. I'm yeah, this is pretty cool. Hey, by the way, I'll watch you on TV, okay, on Saturdays, okay?
Yes, sir. I appreciate that.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And thank you guys for having me on too as well. I know when the sun comes over, you guys want to hang out.
We good. He's leaving.
Yeah, we good. He's
Okay.
just popping out. We don't.
Hey, go Cats.
Go Cats.
Yeah.
Go Cats. So yeah, I mean, and if we go back to the Ole Miss game again, Ty was the one that made the 2 interceptions that put us up 10-0. That set us up for success for that game, and we just weren't able to, really just kind of just maintain that. And that's not the only time. Even when we played South Carolina, if you remember last year, Ty got the interception and we didn't score. And then from there, that game went downhill last year. So, Ty, we're proud of him. He's doing his thing. We feel like he's doing his part. But it's still a team effort. And so, we just got to figure out how we can get the whole team to kind of come together and just make it happen. I don't know I don't know. As a coach, and even for Scoop, I don't know what he can do and what he can say just to get players to play for him. So what my husband does is, I'm an offensive coordinator. You don't maybe not.
No, I do now. Okay. Congratulations.
So my husband, for those that don't know, my husband and I both coach a middle school team. And this year, I'm his offensive coordinator. Before, I was the assistant head coach, and I was like the assistant offensive coordinator, the running backs coach. And then I also coached the local women's tackle football team, where I was a running back coach. I was assistant offensive coordinator. I was a special teams coach. And, so I know football. So that's the reason why I created with my co-host, my other co-host, Hits and Heels, because as a female coach, there aren't no female coaches, and I know the game just a little bit more than most people, than most women, right? And then of course, living in a house with a coach and a stellar athlete like my son, it's we live and breathe football 24/7 up in here, and so. Oh, Kelly, my bad. I'm sorry. Tell Ty that his new auntie told the Cowboy Scouts and his friend who works in the Cowboys front office to track him.
Yeah. My daughter, she played tackle football from like age of 5 into the 7th grade. Yeah, and then when we told her to stick to basketball, she was offended. We was like, baby,
I totally agree with that.
Big. These kids are getting big, baby. They are.
I totally agree with
Every
that.
time we walk through the middle school room, I'm recruiting girls because they're stronger, faster, and they don't play.
Yeah.
And then something happens to them, and they become very nice and understanding.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It gets rough, man. Yeah. So she loves tackle football, and if she could, she would definitely still be playing. I was like, baby, you're only about 4'9", 5 feet. These boys are getting big now, big and fast.
Gotcha.
Absolutely.
So Ty, my friend Kelly Collins, who we do our Dallas Cowboys fast, she said to tell Ty that his new auntie told the Cowboy Scouts and his frat who works in the Commodore's front office to track you.
I like that.
He said he liked that. But yeah, so that's we do. I hope he makes it in. We're looking forward to it. But we got to get through. We're traveling to Georgia this weekend.
Yeah, so I think my biggest thing with Kentucky football is, and my apologies for cutting you off. I think my biggest thing is when we get down, don't stay down. Kentucky has been a team, unfortunately, that just like you just said, we started out. Dude, there's no way we should have lost to Ole Miss. I mean, the energy was there, and once we just made a couple mistakes, we just took a plummet, and it's like, well, it's almost in a sense and it's sad to say from me, but it's almost in the sense where it's like, well, okay, whatever, we weren't supposed to win no way. So if we get down and if we losing, and if we end up losing the game, then it won't be like, well, you guys were supposed to beat so and so. And I think if we can just, if we get down, if we can just don't stay down, and if we find a way to fight through that adversity in that ball game, you know, and of course Georgia, they coming off a loss to Alabama. Last year, we could have beat Georgia last year. We could have beat Georgia
last year.
Yes, we could have beat
Should
Georgia
have
last.
beat Georgia last
We should have. So it's kind of like you take those two, and now they got to, and now we're playing between the hedges in Georgia. It's just kind of like, come on, Kentucky. Just if you get down, I mean, expect Georgia to score a touchdown. Touchdowns.
Well, the biggest thing is the last time we played in Georgia, Ty's freshman year, they just jumped on us so fast.
Yeah.
Yes, they did.
We made mistakes early too.
And when they came there last year, it was like, okay, boom, boom, we're blocking this punch, and we're going to make a dogfight after this. And the biggest thing is right now is the positive energy from Kentucky fans has to feed into these. And I get it. He's 6'7". What's the big lineman, Hawaiian or whatever he is?
Like 6'7".
6'7", 6'8",
Yes.
number 71. Okay, but people, he is still a baby. He's 20, 22, 21, 20 years of age. And you can't attack these kids. I know they're big and they're strong, but mentally their frontal lobe just got developed. Because they don't get developed till you're 21.
Yeah.
I mean, if he didn't play football and he had a moment, people will go, well, he's not there yet. But people got to understand positive helps the team. And looking for a reason just to be negative. I never understand it because I'm not into the Twitter and all that stuff because that's what makes people brave. You know, they drink a lot of brave because they wouldn't walk up in my face and say that.
Nope.
You know,
they wouldn't.
So you know, and so it feels like they feel like, okay, I have an opinion. Okay, you do. But sometimes don't be critical with the babies. I'm sorry.
Well,
And I've always said that.
That's so true. I think going back to the Georgia Bulldogs, there was a statistic that came out, I think last year was in the last maybe 5 or 6 seasons, Kentucky is the only team that 3 times has held Georgia under 20 points.
Yes.
We didn't get the win, but those times where we held them under 20 points, we were in those games. Again, like the Tigers' first year when we went down there, the game just got away from us early in the first quarter. We had an interception, we had a fumble, we had some bad.
Well, they threw the ball in the flats.
Yeah.
A lot. The first year they went down there, they threw the ball in the flats a lot. They ran dig routes all the way across. I mean, as you can tell, my brain still remembers that.
Yeah.
We had turnovers.
We had some bad penalties.
And you know, and you can't do that with a good team, a great team.
No, you can't.
Let's not get it twisted. Alabama's a great team.
Yes.
I mean, excuse me,
Georgia.
I stand corrected. Thank you, man.
Yeah.
So how do you feel the outcome? I mean, based on, I know you said a little bit. I didn't know if you have more to say on that.
I mean, this is one of those games where quite naturally, especially if we can't beat South Carolina, a lot of fans have already written off this ball game. But it's one, and then the thing about playing Georgia is over the past couple of years is outside of that one game that you guys were mentioning, it's kind of like if we play at this level, how we played against Georgia, why come we can't be more effective in the SEC with Georgia being kind of the more, Alabama's still
like
there.
Setting the standard. Like
yes,
they kind of set the standard.
Exactly.
On who the best team is. And so, and that's kind of how like we felt too. Like, okay, if we can play like this against Georgia, why can't we play? Because you got to think on that game, we turned around and came back and beat Ole Miss, right? Or did we? I can't remember.
Beat Ole Miss last
Ole
year.
Miss first.
We played Georgia.
We
played Georgia first,
yep.
And then we came back and beat Ole
Miss on the road.
On the road, yes.
Okay, but to me, it always comes down to when we played them down in Georgia, they jumped out, they brought their 2s in, then they brought their 1s back. Our 1s had to stay in the games, and that's a fact. It's a big difference. Okay,
yes.
When they played up here, they couldn't bring their 2s in. because we were right there every game, every moment. So they brought spots in. When I tell people they bring teams like Alabama, Ohio State, they bring in twos and they'll replace 8 players.
Yes.
And unless you really understand, it doesn't drop off so much. So as soon as the momentum starts switching towards Kentucky, they'll bring their ones back who's been sitting on the sideline drinking water.
Resting.
And people don't understand that's the big deal. That's the difference. And now we've got to be in games, not turn the ball over, not get penalties, because we cannot fight back from that.
And that's why it's so important for us to try to put out some longer drives. That's why it's important for us not to just go. You can't expect to win because the talent level is different, and it just isn't. Their ones, their twos can go to most programs in the nation and probably start. They can probably start. So that's why it's so important that, because our twos on our defense has nothing on their twos in defense. So if we're going to go out here and just keep getting 3 and outs, and as soon as our defense gets on the sideline, as soon as they get one drink of water, well, guess what, guys? It's 4th down. Get your helmets on. We're going right back out there. Like, dude, can we get a rest? But no, because your offense is not helping out your defense at all. And until that happens, it's just, and people on my show have said it. By the 3rd quarter, our defense is bent over at the knees because we exhausted. And that energy that we had, that was productive, we don't have that the middle of the 3rd quarter all the way through the rest of the ball game. So that's when teams start taking advantage of that. And then that's when so the score might be higher than maybe what we want to see it. But then if you go back and look at, okay, it's the middle of the 3rd quarter, our defense is so exhausted. To them, even though they don't want to get scored on, that's a break for them, unfortunately. So we just got to see how this all pans out.
I like the point that you made on your show about this South Carolina game when is it Skinner? Is that his name?
Yes, D. Skinner. Yes, his son's Mikael Skinner. Yeah.
Okay, I think he made the comment that the defense only gave up 14 points.
Yes, that's true. Yeah.
In the South Carolina game, because the
offense caused those turnovers, or they was putting their defense in such of a bad position, and they already exhausted. So when you put a I guess you can say a decent team like South Carolina, when you put them on the other side of the field in scoring territory, and our defense is already tired. Yeah, we're mentally not sharp, and I think as you were saying, that makes a big difference playing football. Yep.
Okay, let's do that.
And that's where I have a problem with the fan base, because you guys have no idea. Not you, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the fan base in general just has no idea what is really going on, and they're not seeing those intricate pieces of part of the game. And again, that goes back to the fact that Kentucky cannot get the players that Georgia and Alabama, even South Carolina. Yeah. I felt like the athleticism that they had compared to ours, even in the game, because we're there live. You're like, oh wow.
Yep.
Well, my thing is going with that is somebody made a comment. One of the fans of South Carolina, like, y'all basketball, and I said, yeah, y'all are too. Congratulations on your girls team.
Absolutely.
Yes.
You're a basketball team.
Yeah, you're a basketball team too. You're a school too. Yeah.
And what I'm getting at is my question in my statement about that is when Kentucky, I'm trying to phrase this correctly, so I apologize. Okay, so I'm gonna go to my other question I was going to do before I did. I gotta phrase this right so you can understand. Okay, can you do me a favor? Say your show name again so people will know.
The Loyal BBN Fan Show.
And what days are you on?
We do we do all post game shows right after the game. We started doing pregame shows this year. We definitely will be doing pregame shows for basketball, and so but our regular lives are Mondays at 6 Easterns and Wednesdays at 7 Eastern. Yeah.
Okay. And are you from Kentucky?
I am from Kentucky. That's where my family and stuff is from. Yes.
What part?
Yeah. I grew up in Franklin, Kentucky, Simpson County, but my parents, they live in Bowling Green.
So you got family. No, whoa. Are they purples?
No, they Wildcats.
Oh, no. I can't fool with them. I can't.
Now, I went to Bowling Green. I went to Bowling Green for a year and a half. I should have stayed there instead of going back to graduate with my buddies. I should have stayed, but my baby brother, he graduated a purple.
So he's a purple. So
yes, he graduated a purple.
Well, do me a favor. Tell your baby brother what's up, Perp. Because I'm a purple.
Okay. And, they ain't too good this year, though.
No, they are good. I mean, here's what happened. See, people didn't understand what was going on.
I'm shocked.
Okay, no. Here's what happened. Their best, real quickly. Their best. You know, I can go on and on about my purples.
Yeah.
Their number one guy was candidate for Mr. Kentucky, got hurt on the first play.
Okay.
The number two guy got hurt on the seventh play. Their number one lineman got hurt. And It was like 6 guys has been out. They're all starting to come back. That's why they're starting back to win. They have played without, because if you take out even Georgia, take out their number one player. And what happened to South Carolina when their quarterback went out the week before?
They went down.
They went down. That's what Bowling Green High. That's what's going on with Bowling Green High.
Okay.
You know, watch yourself. You know, we don't lose like that, man. You know,
I'm
just saying now. Calm that down now. Calm that down.
One thing we don't do over here is we don't play about his Bowling Green purples, and we don't play about our Kentucky Wildcats.
I got you.
Watch yourself.
Ty said he played about it. So it's so funny because when Ty was in high school, he was able to beat Bowling Green. Beat Bowling Green High in the championship game. And
okay.
Ended up being the MVP of that against his dad.
And he said that the coaches, he was on the sideline saying, "Hey, Ty, you should have followed your daddy. You should have came over here and followed your daddy's footsteps." And he said, "No, I'm good.
I'm good. I'm good.
But
I'm where I'm supposed to be at."
Yeah. Because, you know, I'm very close friends, of course, with Joker and Kerry Bird. And, and all them. Yeah, you know, they're Franklin Simpsons. I love it.
These are nice.
Thank you, Mr. Ty.
See you.
Yeah, take it easy.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Love you, man.
Love you, big.
I mean, y'all, people don't understand how giddy we get when we see him. And
absolutely.
Now he communicates with me at least once a day. And people are like, he does? I said, yeah, he'll just call me and say, I love you. And but when we get to see what?
Yeah, he's okay.
Yeah, he's okay. He knows he's not supposed to be up here. That's right. He's asking the dog okay, because he knows he's not supposed to be up here. And he's like, shoot, I'm up here, I'm staying.
I heard that. Let me just be quiet.
But, yeah. Let me not move. But okay, so Franklin Simpson and so my question is going back to UK. So what do you think basically happens? And they got a bye week coming up, and then I forget who they play after. Who y'all play after your bye week?
Texas.
They play Texas at Kroger Field.
So we got the number 5, the number 10, and the number 15.
Give Texas heck, man. Let's go.
And again, and can we go back to that? We were at the Texas game last year. We should have beat Texas. We should have beat Tennessee. We should have beat Georgia. The 3 teams that made the college championship tournament last year were beatable games for Kentucky last year.
They was. Yep. And it's just a matter of us being able to close out ball games. And you know, it hurts. That hurts, you know.
Kelly said report to MetLife on Sunday to help the Cowboys secondary.
No more ties, Cowboys.
Hey, all I know is I'm sorry, I'm like you. I was very happy to see him because number one, you ring the doorbell, and I didn't understand. He's got a key, and then I guess he didn't want to pull out his key. That's what he said.
Yeah. Okay.
So, but going back to Kentucky, it's sort of like I really feel like everybody wouldn't be talking about basketball if they had the team that came in last year. This year's team, they were very fortunate financially to be able to get some players here, and they're going to be pretty good. Just hope we can get some stops. We're going to score points in basketball. Yeah, we got shooters. There, we got a lot of shooters.
Yeah.
And so real quickly, if you don't mind, comment. Have you looked at their team, been in their basketball practices?
Oh, as far as basketball goes?
Yeah.
Well, I haven't been anything being over here. So,
okay. You over there?
Yeah.
I'm in Saudi right now.
Saudi Arabia right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
The sun is coming out.
You can just go to Miami. They got a beach.
I don't think I'm going to be here that long. It hasn't worked out the way I wanted it to work. So I think I'm going to go home. I really want to go home. And I should have prayed about this before I took this position, because it's turning out to be everything that I didn't want it to be. So I would love to really come home in December and really just work full time on my show. I really, really want to build us a lot. So if I do get out of here, then I'm going to go hard as I can with my show. But I want to go to Lexington so I can start being around stuff. I won't move to Lexington, but I want to get up and drive, and I want to go start doing, because people ask me, hey man, why won't you come and do a live show? I can't do a live show. I'm in Saudi, because I was in Kuwait as well too.
Somebody told me that we should be doing live shows too, because we're already at the games. And
let me do this. Okay, I look at the clock, and I don't have a time limit, but I usually close this.
Okay.
I walk away. Everybody knows that's my routine. My question is, if you do get here and you decide to come, if you need somewhere to stay, please let us know.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you.
I mean,
tell Ty to come over. What's up, big guy? Yeah, I know I'm older than you, but I'm still happy.
No doubt.
Thank you so much. I appreciate
it's very
it.
nice, and you're close with Coach Bryant here.
Okay,
so Michael, very nice actually seeing your face. I've
Thank
heard you, and you do a great job, you and your partner, and thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. Good luck to you guys.
Because you're a Franklin Wildcat, go Purples.
Yeah, go Wildcats. For real.
Well, that's good stuff. I mean, again, we absolutely enjoy the fact that, we feel blessed and honored. The fact that Cisco was able to play at Kentucky, have good success, and have a good career at Kentucky, and then for Ty to come up. I mean, people don't understand. I mean, I'm looking at his bedroom right there, and I have Kentucky stuff everywhere. So he's been born and bred to love Kentucky. And so to have the opportunity, I can't remember when we the time that when he actually got the offer from Kentucky, just how excited we were about it. And then when we finally sat down on signing day, and he the day he committed, and he actually said that he was committing to the University of Kentucky. People have no idea just the level of pride and happiness that we did and that we have. And then again, just having him home, we always friend a lot of the other parents and stuff like that. So when we were at South Carolina, we met up with the Dingles. Dingle was one of our tight ends last season that hit the portal, went to Bowling Green High. And so, so we're still friends with a lot of the family members, and, no matter where they go, we're still, Kobe, the Keenums, they're now at Mississippi State. Of course, Dane, Dane is like a nephew to us. We don't play about Dane. Like at all. Okay. Nobody say nothing bad about Dane Key around us, or we're hitting them dead in the mouth. Right. And so, we don't play about them. And so we really, really, just wish the fan base would just have a little bit of grace and just understanding. And I get it at the same time, because I'm a coach. And so I understand when you put players in position to make plays and then they don't make the play. I understand that, but
Yeah.
sometimes as a fan, you don't understand that the coaches, sometimes the coaches are doing what they're supposed to be doing, and then the players just aren't making the players just don't make the play. They don't catch the ball. They don't make the tackle. They don't, they miss the coverage. They fumble the ball.
Yep.
Right. And so, yes, as coaches, you do have to take on that responsibility. Is the responsibility ultimately on Coach Stoops? It absolutely is. But people have no idea how hard it is to recruit. Kentucky does not get the number one players that they want. Apparently, I guess there's a board. You have a board. And so what I try to tell parents with helping with the recruiting process, because we learned this in the recruiting process, is a coach has, like, if you're courting a female, let's go that route. And okay, your top female might be Beyonce.
Yeah.
Your number 2 might be, I don't know, Halle Berry. Your number 3 might be, I mean, I don't know who the next, female, but you might have to settle for a Regina King, who's still cold-blooded.
Yeah.
Right? But she's not a Beyonce.
Yeah.
Because that's all that you can, you know what I mean? That's because that's all you can get. And that's the part that the fan base doesn't understand about the recruiting process. And so when they give an offer to a player for the tight end position, they also gave offers to probably 5 or 6 other tight ends. There's one in particular that they want, and they might court that one a little bit more than the others. But if he decides to go someplace else, then now they have to go with their number 2, their number 3, and sometimes maybe their 4th choice in a player, in a position that is critical to what they need on the team. And so then when you get those, how many of the, and I would love to be able to see the statistics, because the Kentucky is not going to disclose that information. They're not going to disclose, okay, if we sat down and looked at our roster of the 51 players that we just took in for just this season, 45 of them was our number 3 and our number 4th choice, our 3rd and 4th choice. And I guarantee that was the case. And I'm not saying that that's nothing negative for these babies or anything like that. It's just that you see the players, they look great coming off the bus. You look at their stats look really, really good. And even if I go back to Cutter played 1A in Kentucky. He did not play against any SEC caliber players in Kentucky. Ty played in 5A against most of the players that were going to D1 players, right?
I didn't know that.
And so to me, that's where, okay, he's good.
Yeah.
But he needs a little bit more time for development. Y'all the fan base is wanting him on the field too early.
Yeah. And that's the thing, is like we're kind of with a double-edged sword right now. If Calzada gets healthy, do you pull a Cutter and then you take a chance with Calzada? And if you do, then guess what? Calzada is not going to be around next year. If you pull a Cutter now, does he transfer? Does he stay humble and wait?
Don't have no more eligibility left.
No. Does Cutter?
Does Cutter stay?
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Does he stay around?
And he probably won't.
And that's the thing. So it's just kind of like, well, okay, Calzada, your year is probably over because this is our future. So we're gonna let him ride it out, win or lose,
so that we don't lose him.
And then so we don't lose him, and he's getting these reps in, I guess, SEC powerhouses. So at least next year when he comes in,
now he got the experience.
He got the experience, and now it's like, okay, we gave you a whole. I mean, and you're not going to get this. People debate all the time. Who's better, the Big Ten or SEC. But at the end of the day, if Cutter's going to stick around and if Cutter's going to be the guy in the ball game, then you're going to be playing against the elite of the elite for the rest of the year. And if you can't get experience from this week after week after week, with the exceptions of our little game that we should win, I think against Eastern Tennessee or whoever that is, you will win that ball game, but how can you perform on a big level against the big powerhouses of the SEC? Get that experience so next year it ain't going to be, well, he doesn't have a lot of experience. Next year,
There's no other now there's no other excuse.
yeah. And if you don't learn to get rid of that football within 3 seconds in the SEC, you won't make it next year because you'll get hurt.
It's a wrap. You got to be able to get the ball out in 2-3 seconds.
Yeah. Yep. You got to get
Like
that
you said,
ball
3
out.
seconds is probably too long. 2 seconds.
You got to, I mean, boom, you got to read and then you got to go.
I think even we talked about that. So my girl Kelly is on here, and we do a Dallas Cowboys show on Tuesdays.
Okay.
And we talk nothing but Dallas Cowboys most of the time. And I think that's one of the things he talked about, the difference between the game against Green Bay was that Dak got rid of the ball faster. I think it was like a 2-point within 3 seconds he was getting rid of the ball. He wasn't holding on to the ball as long as he was maybe in the game against like Chicago and maybe even the Eagles game. He wasn't holding on to the ball as long. And because when you're going against the elite, I mean that's why we wanted to be. We were so excited for Ty to be able to play in the SEC. And we had a Walker, Deion Walker's dad on the podcast. Yeah, Kelly, 2 points. She said 2.5 seconds.
Okay.
We had Deion Walker on the podcast, his dad on the podcast after the season last year, and he said that one of the reasons why Deion wanted to come to Kentucky is because he wanted to play against Michigan. He wanted to play against the Georgias. And I think that that's the advantage that Ty has, that we like too, of him being here, not because it's just home, but because he has the opportunity to play against the best. And Ty always rises to the occasion against the best SEC team. His best games have been against Tennessee and Georgia and Alabama, and he had a great game against Texas. He's always he had a great game against Ole Miss. So he always rises to the occasion for those games. He definitely steps up his game for those things. But anyway, I just wanted to say thank you again for coming on. I know we got you up early in the morning and you got to go catch a flight. But when you come to Lexington, make sure you reach out to us and we'll roll out the red carpet for you and introduce you to whoever you need to in order for you to get your platform where you want it to go. We're trying to do the same thing. Yes, sir. Oh, Coach Bryant said that we're going to put you on the NIL deal.
Hey, if I could just shake hands. Nice to meet you, big guy. I would appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for having me on. I really do appreciate it very, very much. Thank you.
No, I wanted to bring you on because I want people to be able to go to your podcast, because I love that you try your best to talk the positives about Kentucky football, because I feel like the fan base, don't say that we're happy about losing.
Yeah,
no, we're
exactly.
not.
Yes.
But there's still just so many factors that people don't take into consideration about Kentucky, and I feel like that they're doing the best that they can do.
Me too. And I think at the end of the day, I think I kind of, my son, he's actually in the Navy, and he's stationed in Italy, so he just got back to the States. He came to see his wife, but I kind of look at, with the NIL, the kids getting paid now, all this right here. At the end of the day, these are somebody's kids, these are somebody's nephews and uncles and all this kind of stuff. So while I'm just like you just said, I'm not happy that we're losing. And I find a way to vent without throwing all my anger on these kids and even the coaches. I'm angry and I want us to win, but at the end of the day, it's like, you guys know this is a ball game, right?
It's just a game.
Yeah,
and these are people's children and people's husbands.
Yes.
And the mental part of this is we're always having to check his mental part of it, because when you live by the praise, you die by the criticism.
Yes.
And so some people can't, especially at this level, most of the kids at this level were great and probably the best player on the team when they were in high school. And then now they get to this level and now they find out that they're not as good as they think they are.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's really a tough pill to swallow for some of these young men. They're thinking that they're doing the best that they can. We coach. We had show film and we had to show kids you're not running fast.
Yeah.
You're thinking you're running fast, but we're telling you you're not running fast. And we had to show them on film that, look, does this look like you're running fast to you? You know, and sometimes they don't understand that. And so that's where I think a lot of things come in, even with the coaches, because guess what? As a coach in this day and age with NIL, if you're too hard on kids and they don't think you like them, they just gonna hit the portal and leave.
Yes, they will. Yep.
If you don't hold them accountable, they don't get better. So how do these coaches win?
It's a very fine line today in college football now. It really is. So
and I feel like that's the reason why Saban stepped down. I feel like that's the reason why you see a lot of these coaches that are stepping down, because now that the money is and they deserve the money.
Yes, long overdue.
But now it's a business, and so now it's just very difficult because and then we know players that have left organizations because players got paid and the coaches feel obligated that the boosters are, I'm paying you bye baby, love you. I'm paying you for this particular player and we expect them to play.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I mean that the money talks and
they might not be the best player on the
they
team.
may not be the best player.
So then now this player that you weren't paying as much is hitting the portal.
That could have really been really good for you too. That could really help you, but you let him get away. Yep.
Right. So
Mike,
how long have you been a UK fan?
I've been a UK fan pretty much my whole life. I'm from Kentucky. I left Kentucky in '94 in the service, so I did 20 years in the Navy, and so I was overseas for a lot of the time. So a lot of the great UK days with the team couches and stuff like that, I was out doing my thing. So now that I'm retired and now that I can, just kind of stay put, even over here, in the internet and all that kind of stuff, it's a lot easier now to keep track of everything that's going on than it was back in the day. Yeah. So, yeah.
Oh yeah, the internet is unfiltered when it comes to keep up with everything. Yeah. One of the hardest things that I have to do is stay off of, the boards and stuff like that. I remember the Ty's first year. It was before he got his first start. Somebody on Twitter said, I don't know why Stoops recruited players like Ty Bryant.
Wow. And they're out there. They're keyboard warriors.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
And then right. I mean, maybe a game after that was when Ty got co-SEC Freshman Player of the Week. After he led the team in tackles against Tennessee, then he was co-SEC Freshman Player of the Week against Mississippi State, and then he came back again and led the team in tackles against Alabama. But you feel like he was not a good recruit for Kentucky? Like that's so I had to stay away from those type of things. But what I should have did is I need to do a better job of screenshotting and keeping those receipts.
For real. Yeah.
So that
my best thing. Yep. Yeah. So my best thing that I do, I just scroll on through because I mean, if you can be, and that's the thing that I don't understand about a lot of people. It's kind of like if you see stuff that you don't like online, you don't have to comment. Just if it ain't you, just keep going. Yeah.
Rolling. Right. Yep. So I posted on my Instagram. I have a video that went viral because it was my very first play call as an offensive coordinator. And I called something real simple. It was like a 21 dive, real simple. And we actually scored on the very first play call that I called. And I got a capture. I don't know how many guys came in and was like, since when is a dive a pitch? So this is real elementary. Just so much negativity.
It's out there, man. Yeah.
And I'm like, so you couldn't just keep scrolling?
Yeah,
But
it's really that
you
is.
just had to say something.
Yep. This is my little moment that I'm so proud of. No matter how much you may think that this is so small, for me, this was something. And for you to feel like it's just like you just have to say something negative, come on, man. Like life's too short for that, bro. Keep it moving. Just why? You just ask why. So, me like yourself, who does a show like this, I have to have thick skin.
Yes.
I have a really, really good following in the sense of they know that I don't cuss on my shows. They know that we don't that we don't belittle. That we
Yes, and we're
find,
the same. Yeah, we're the same
yeah,
way. Yeah.
so we find positive ways. Yes, I'm angry, and yes, if you want to say Stoops needs to go, I'm okay with that. I don't censor people in the sense of if you want to speak your mind, you're in the chat, you're talking, but I'm selective on what I would put up on my screen for
Oh
other
yeah, I
people
am
to
too.
see,
Yeah.
because
I
once you
mean,
put
I
it on
think
the screen, it's
yes,
there. Yeah.
yesterday I think
Thank you
was
so
the
much,
first.
Alvin.
Yeah, I think yesterday was the first time I've actually had I think on my Cowboy show, I've had a couple of trolls come on, and for the
Yeah.
first time in almost 150 shows, I had to actually delete people and block them off because it was like, okay, we're not getting ready to do this.
Yeah.
We're not going to do
So,
this. So yeah. So thank you again. Thank you for your
Thank you.
service. I
Thank you so
appreciate
much.
you. Thank your son for his service. We
Thank you.
appreciate you. I'm glad you got to holler at Ty.
I did.
And now you can go to your show and give us all the
Yeah.
give us all the shout outs.
Absolutely.
Thank you for coming to Hits and Heels.
Yeah.
I definitely will encourage everyone to go to his show. Let me take this off so they can see your show again.
Okay.
You feel free to drop your link to your show in the comments so that people can go back and they can go and make sure you guys go to YouTube and subscribe to the Loyal BBN Fan Show featuring Big Mike.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it, and thank you for having me on. It means a lot to me. And you guys take care.
Oh, hold on one second. Yeah,
Okay.
we're done. Hold on. But Mr. Brown said Shane Boyd, a UK quarterback, was on the show last week and shared with us the tension of being a UK quarterback. That position comes under unbelievable scrutiny. It really does.
I'm glad I'm not.
I don't. And again, how does a kid want to come to Kentucky to want to be a quarterback? That's all I'm gonna say to the fans.
Fans, and believe me, these
Because
recruits and these players, they're reading these comments, man. They're reading these comments all the time, and it's like.
And then you say, well, we need to get a quality quarterback. Well, if we decided to, hopefully we don't go to the portal. I'm going to go see what the fan base looks like, because I'm not getting ready to go subject my son to a fan base like Kentucky's.
Yeah, it's rough, man. It is. So,
we're just lucky that he's playing well.
Yep, it is. So
if he wasn't,
yep.
I already know I'm gonna have to hit somebody in the throat. But because if you see me in person, just know. It's I'll be the one, the mama fighting in the stands, because
absolutely.
What I'm ready to do is say nothing about my baby. Yeah. Oh wait, so we're done.
So,
all right.
But thank you so much.
Absolutely, thank you so much, and don't log off. Don't log off.
Okay.